What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It's the world's worst comedian, Terrell Wright, and this is 411 the podcast. Yes. So if we're looking at this right now, so if you're looking at this, then that means that we have hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So first of all, let's get a round of applause for that. Insert applause there. And I just want to say that this has been something that's been in the works for a while. I finally have the opportunity to do it, and I'm glad that you guys are here to share it with me. I'm gonna go ahead and let you know this is going to be a train wreck to start off with. A train wreck. So we're gonna get through it together. This is the pilot episode. We're gonna see how we do. I got a format here that I wrote down, so I'm gonna refer to some notes. But first off, let's talk about a little bit how this is gonna go. So this is 411 the podcast. What we're gonna do is gonna be me. It's gonna only be me for the most part. We might have some guests here and there. We'll see. But for the most part, I've got opinions about things. There are things that are happening in the world, and I want to share my opinion on them. So you're gonna see. So imagine like SNL Weekend Update, but not as funny. So imagine that. That's kind of what the vibe is gonna go here. We've got a couple of segments that I think I want to do, but like I said, we're gonna try them out. We're gonna see what works. We're gonna see what doesn't, and then we're gonna keep it moving. But I'm so glad to have all of you guys here with me. This is awesome. I can't believe it. I'm so happy. All right, let's not make it weird. So let's talk about the schedule. So I'm going to do this as much as I possibly can. I'm taking a job that is going to have me kind of all over the place at all kinds of different times. So I'm going to really try to do this whenever I can. I would like to say I'm going to give you guys an episode a week. I can't promise that. When I have a full-time job, it's hard to kind of promise that. Now, if you guys want to get me to a point to where I can do this regularly, then that's up to y'all. Which means y'all got to share it. Y'all got to do everything you can to make sure everybody sees this, especially if you like it. So, you never know. Sooner than later, we can get there, and then you guys will see me every week, if not 2 times a week, if not 3 times a week, if I'm doing this for a living. So we'll see. But let's jump right into it right off the bat. I got some stuff I want to talk about, so let's jump into it. Joe Coy. If you guys don't know who Joy Coy is, Joy Coy. See? You see what I said? It's going to be a train wreck? Joe Coy. If you don't know who Joe Coy is, he is an absolutely major comedian. He is doing big things. He's selling out arenas everywhere. When I say everywhere, he's selling out arenas everywhere. He is a really huge comedian, and he was invited to do the Golden Globe Awards. Now, he was invited to do the Golden Globe Awards, and I think that he was given 10 days. That's what he said, at least. He was given 10 days prior to the award show to get ready for the award show. He went up, he did his thing, he did his monologue, and people are saying that it was an epic fail. Now, I don't think it was an epic fail. I watched it. I watched the whole monologue. I thought it was pretty solid, to be honest with you. And given the fact that he only had 10 days to prepare for it, like, what do you expect? You know, I don't expect him to go up there and just completely kill it based off of preparing for it for 10 days. He didn't know who was going to be there. He didn't have any time to research any of the shows or the movies that were up for awards, because there's so many jokes within all of those shows and movies and stuff that were going up. Or I guess it's movies because it's Golden Globe. I said shows. Maybe that's the Emmys. I don't know. I'm not in Hollywood like that. But anyways, he went up and they said it was an epic fail. He had some jokes that landed and some jokes that didn't. And he even said, hey, I wrote some of these jokes and I didn't write some of these jokes. So, and he said the jokes that you guys are laughing at are the ones that I wrote. So, like I said, I didn't think he did bad, but there was one joke in particular that I thought was a little mediocre at best. And it was about Taylor Swift. And I'm going to tell you guys, the look on Taylor Swift's face was absolutely priceless. Like, she was not impressed. Let's take a look at it.
The big difference between the Golden Globes and the NFL, on the Golden Globes, we have fewer camera shots of Taylor Swift. I swear.
Bro, she was not impressed. Not impressed at all. And here's the thing, bro. It's like, you're Taylor Swift. You know you're going to be you know that there's going to be some scrutiny. You know everybody's going to be paying attention to what you're doing. You're at the Golden Globes. There's no way that your name's not going to be mentioned. There's no way. If you don't want your name to be mentioned, then don't show up and don't be Taylor Swift. Simple as that. But I didn't think, and people said that his jokes were racist. They said that his jokes were sexist, all kinds of stuff. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you've seen some of the award shows that have had comedians as hosts, particular as hosts, I had to make sure I say hosts, use the proper grammar. But like for instance, Chris Rock, controversial, always controversial. And some of the jokes that Chris Rock throws out there are bad, really bad. So you think Joe Coy was bad? Like, go back and watch some of Chris Rock's hosts. Like, he hosted the Oscars, I think 1 or 2 years, and man, like, I don't know. But anyways, I don't think he did that bad. I'm gonna keep saying that over and over again. I don't think he did that bad. And to be honest with you, he's still gonna sell out arenas, and he's still gonna be Joe Coy. He's still gonna do the thing that he does. So Joe Coy, if you ever get to see this, if you're watching this, keep doing what you're doing, brother. It's all good. Even though, like, do you need to hear that from me? Really? Anyways, let's move on. The next thing I want to talk about, there was a Burger King employee that worked 27 years. When I say 27 years consistently, and did not miss one single day at work. Not one single day. He worked for almost 30 years at a Burger King. I don't know if he was management, whatever, but he worked in the food service industry in one particular location for 27 years and did not miss one day, which means he didn't call out. I'm gonna tell you, if I work 27 days at a job, I'm calling out one for sure. There's just gonna be one of those days where I'm just like, you know what, I don't feel like doing this. I'm not going in. And I'm gonna have diarrhea is what I'm gonna have, because nobody, think about it, whenever you call out, you got to think of something that you can kind of get away with. Because if you say I got a cold, then you got to go in like 2 or 3 days later and you got to show symptoms of a cold, because cold just doesn't go away in 2 or 3 days, but a stomach bug can go away in 24 hours. So the best way to call out is to say, you know what, I am absolutely shitting myself. I'm absolutely shitting myself right now. And if I come into work, you are liable to get shit on, or shat on is, I guess, is the proper grammar, because we're all about using the proper grammar in this episode of this podcast. But you're going to get shat on. Just like that dude that shat all the way up the row in the airplane, you're going to get some diarrhea on you. So anytime you call your boss and say, hey, look, I'm shitting all over the place. Hey, stay at home, bro. Stay at home. Nobody wants diarrhea shit on them. So, but anyways, I went off on a tangent there. He went to work 27 years, never missed a day. So this is so funny. Burger King showed their gratitude to this dude by giving him a goodie bag after 27 years of working and not missing a day. And in this goodie bag, he had a movie ticket, a Starbucks cup, candy, a couple of pens, and some keychains. And I would imagine that the pens and the keychains were probably Burger King pens and Burger King keychains. Like, this dude did not have it his way at all. At BK, have it your way. He did not rule. Yeah, I just did that. Okay, that happened. But that's what he was given, and he got this, and I guess his family was a little bit upset about him getting this goodie bag for 27 whole years of service to them. So they turned around and posted a TikTok, and of course the TikTok went absolutely viral, like it always does in those type of situations. It's always the stories and the stuff like that goes viral. But when I record a video spending 30 minutes recording it, and 30 minutes writing it, another hour actually recording the separate parts, and then another hour and a half chopping it up and spicing it and editing it and doing all kinds of stuff. And I post it and it doesn't go viral. That's how things work for me. But when you post stories like this, they go viral because everybody wants a wholesome story. But anyways, it goes viral. His daughter or one of his kids starts a GoFundMe. This GoFundMe, let's talk here. This GoFundMe raises $450,000. $450,000 this GoFundMe raises. And this guy buys a house. What else did he buy? He paid off some debt, bought a plane ticket to go see his daughter. I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome that he was able to get that money. It just makes me want to come up with some kind of wholesome story and have one of my kids create a GoFundMe for me. You know, let me see what I can come up with. Okay, all right, I'm probably shouldn't do that, and I'm not gonna do that. Anyways, now if something actually does happen, and I post a video and there's a GoFundMe, people are not gonna believe it if they see this. So, way to go, Terrell. That's awesome. All right, so the next segment that I want to do, and this is something that I think I want to do every single episode of this podcast, because I'm really into this, and this is something that I really love doing and love talking about. And I actually just watched this movie the other day. So this segment is going to be Throwback Movie of the Day. So Throwback Movie of the Day. And when I say throwback, I mean anything from 1990 and before that. Because to me, I don't really call it a throwback if it's older than 1990. Or I'm not older, but younger than 1990. Yeah, younger than 1990. That's the word I'm looking for. So 1990 and before that year. So the movie of the day, or the throwback movie of the day, is An American Werewolf in London. An American Werewolf in London. So spoiler alert, I'm going to talk a little bit about the movie. I'm going to give a little bit of the plot. If you haven't seen it, if you don't have any interest in seeing it, then I'll just give you a rough kind of rundown of how the movie goes. In a nutshell, there's an American and he turns into a werewolf in London. That's what happens. Okay, a little bit more to it. There's two Americans. I'm not exactly sure why they were in London. I'm not sure why they went, you know. And actually the guy that directed this movie, really interesting story. The guy that directed this movie is actually the guy that directed the Michael Jackson Thriller video. His name is John Landis. And Michael Jackson was actually interested in John Landis because he saw American Werewolf in London and loved the work that the guy did. I can't remember the guy that did all the CGI, not CGI, but all of the werewolf stuff. He loved the work, and he was like, who did that? And he said John Landis, and then or the person told him John Landis, and he said, okay, we'll get him to do my video. But anyways, so John Landis directed it. These two guys are in London. I'm not sure why they were in London. Two white guys. They get there. Really, really odd, thing. They're walking. They go to this bar. There's a bunch of locals in it. The locals are like not friendly. They leave out of the bar, and as they leave out of the bar, the guys tell them, stay on the roads, don't go to the moors or whatever. Like, stay on the roads, don't go in the woods. They didn't do that, of course. They run into a werewolf. A werewolf attacks both of them, kills one of them, and only bites one of them. The guy that lives goes to the hospital and meets a girl. Of course, there's a love story in this. Meets a girl who's a nurse. Nurse falls in love with him. Nurse takes him back to her flat. They do the stuff that they do, because it's a love story in that sense. He winds up turning into a werewolf, goes crazy in London, winds up getting killed and kills the bloodline or whatever. So it's a really good movie. It really is. Like, going back, looking at some of those movies back in the day like that and seeing some of the special effects and stuff, it's a little nostalgic watching it, because back then it was cutting edge. Back then people were like, oh my God, this is so good. And looking at it now, we can do so much better. CGI is ridiculous, but I love that movie, and I felt like I should tell y'all about it. So stay tuned every episode for the throwback movie of the day. And this one was An American Werewolf in London. So hope you guys enjoy it. Take a look at it. All right, so this next segment, and this is going to be the last segment that we do, and I actually might switch up these segments when I do editing for this, because I don't know what order I want this in, or maybe I'll just leave it how it is. But this segment that I'm going to do right now is going to be the segment that's going to be the hardest thing, I think, to do on a regular basis, because as creative as I like to say I am, it's going to be hard to come up with a new one of these every single episode, but I'm up for the challenge. So this segment is called Brought to You By. So the premise of this segment is for me to come up with a sponsor for the podcast that I'm going to shout out and I'm going to do an ad for. But this sponsor is not going to exist. It's going to be outrageous. It's going to be the most craziest, weirdest sponsor you could ever think of. And it's not going to make any sense whatsoever. So this is going to be fun. I have it written out, so I have to read it because it's an ad, but I wrote it and it's pretty freaking awesome. So here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching 411 the podcast, and this podcast today is brought to you by Fucks. Yes, I said fucks. Are you tired? Are you grumpy? Are you just plain sick of telling people, I don't give a fuck? Well, there's a solution to that, and it's called Fucks. For the monthly subscription price of $6.66, you can have one fuck deposited into your body every month. And I know what you're thinking, but one fuck is not enough. I have work, I have friends, and I have a home life to deal with. And that's where our next tier comes into place. For the low, low price of $3,700, you can get 5 fucks a month. And yes, I know that price is a little steep, but anyone willing to give 5 fucks is willing to pay a premium price for it. So stop saying I have no fucks to give and give a fuck today. Oh. All right. So that's the end of this. I feel like this is enough for the first episode. I appreciate everybody for hanging out. I really do. I appreciate you for watching this, especially if you've made it this far. If you made it this far, freaking awesome. I really appreciate you. I'm so excited for this. I'm super excited. There's more stuff to come. If you have any ideas, any topics, anything you want me to talk about, drop it in the comments right now. Also, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and share this with your friends. Share this with somebody that doesn't know who I am, that you might think that'll like this. Share it with somebody, because I can tell you, if you guys can get me to a point where I can do this on the regular, I promise you, I won't let you down. I promise. So thank y'all for hanging out. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Thank you so much. You've just watched 411 the podcast, and it's going to take me a long time to figure out how to say that without screwing it up. But you just watched 411 the podcast. Deuces.